Welcome to the IBP. Yeah, it's your host, YA. Welcome to the Inappropriate Believer.
Welcome to the IBP. It's your host, YA. Huh? We finally here, baby. Today's episode, it's called Unequally Yoked. And I'm excited to sit down and chop this up. And just hear perspective, give perspective. I've been reading a lot. I think it's been pretty funny. I think it's been pretty telling. And I think I like to use things, educationally. I think we all can learn. I think there's some things to learn. And I think we all can grow and be better. You know what I'm saying? As a culture, as an individual, as a leader, as a person, in every facet. So, welcome to the IBP, episode number 1, Unequally Yoked. And I want to use the Lori Harvey and Michael B. Jordan situation. Just because, it's the Inappropriate Believer. That's what we do. So yeah, I think this ought to be interesting. So, watch this. I first want to start off with disclaimers because everything is a rumor. Blog sites report it. Some things have been confirmed, but I obviously, like most of us, don't know them personally. And so, when you speak on things, you never want to try to speak on things that aren't facts or that are untrue or you don't know about. You want to be responsible with your platform and talk responsibly. And so, like you never want to just assume or slander people or bring people down. Like that's not what this is about. That's not what this platform is about. So we just wanted to make sure that people are aware that this is for conversational purposes only. It's topical. Nobody's behind closed doors. Nobody knows what actually happened. So, when I don't want to use this as an opportunity to have some agenda, but to actually have honest conversations about some really good topics. So, Lori Harvey, Michael B. Jordan, I'm pretty sure if you haven't heard by now, know that, they've broken up. And I think, even though they haven't officially commented on the situation, I think Steve Harvey commented on the situation, said he think, that they'll both be all right. But I've been reading some comments and I've been hearing some perspectives that led me to this. I said, this is a conversation that I think will be fun to have. And so, I want to have it. Just being honest, I want to have it. Lori Harvey and Michael B. Jordan. It was rumored that the reason why they broke up was because Michael B. proposed and Lori declined. So now they decided to go separate ways, or take a break, or however. And it raised a lot of uproar. Like, men, women, saved, unsaved. The comments have been crazy. And women coming to Lori's defense and men coming to Michael's defense. And, no matter what side of the fence you sit on, I believe there's a lesson in everything. And so, one of the defenses, especially for Lori, was she's 25, she's young, no kids, successful. Why is it wrong for her? Or why should she get criticized because she doesn't want to settle down or be locked in or tied in, or a relationship? Relationships and marriages come with sacrifices. It's a job. And she's not at that point in her life where she's ready to slow down her life or, give her all to a person. And so she's doing him a favor doing them a favor by saying, hey, not right now, or no, or maybe later, or whatever the case may be. And I've heard arguments, on Michael's side, like, hey, women want to be treated like a wife. They want to be courted. They want, the world. They want to be treated like a queen. She should be treated like a black queen. And, in the world where we're uplifting women, and black women in particularly, she deserved nothing less but the red carpet treatment. And then, it ends with a no. And how should you feel about that? And if you had a son that was a gentleman and did that, and, the outcome was the same, that, you would feel some type of way if it was your son and it happened. And I believe there are valid points on each side of the spectrum. I think, like I said, there's always a lesson in it. There's always a lesson. And each side of the spectrum. Lori Harvey, has had a lot of relationships. And they've been open relationships. They've been in the media. Like, none of them, or maybe some of them have been secrets, but most of them has been in the media. Future, Puff Daddy. I remember she got criticized for the P. Diddy. I remember Steve Harvey, Trey Songz, she, had a reputation. And Michael B. Jordan, took a liking to her, had got a connection, and fell in love with her. And so, you have people saying, hey, when you're aware, when you're consciously aware of a person, why would you expect anything different? And in the world of second chances, it's unfair to label somebody and then not expect them to grow, or never give them an opportunity to grow, change, be different. People change all the time. And so, people were saying, I saw memes saying, she listened to she listened to Steve Harvey saying, act like a woman, think like a man. And, she's just doing what guys do, and, all that good stuff. And it sounds good. But at the end of the day, should men treat women right if this is going to be the outcome? And, that turned into a boxing match discussion about, should men court women, why women don't be courted. It's like this. And I'm pretty sure some people can relate. You ever, just put it in my perspective, you ever have your eyes on somebody, and she's been with this person, she's been with that person, she's been doing her thing, and then you gotta get with her, and now it's, I want a relationship, and I'm tired of just being out here, now I'm ready, right? You like, yo, you been up here, over there, now all of a sudden, I come around, now you want me to do everything every other man you've been with hadn't had to do. Now now I come along and you want a man, now you want a relationship, like you ain't been in a relationship. But so it's kind of like that, man, and it happens like that sometimes. Sometimes, you just aren't so lucky. Or you are lucky, depending on, your vantage point and how you look at it. So I thought it was really interesting, to see that play out like that. Is Lori Harvey wrong in saying no? Look, I do me. I control my narrative. I control my brand. I just like being in relationships, but marriage is might not be for me, or whatever the case may be. How should men treat women? Like, these are like real questions. Like, look, you hear about women all the time mad because they're not getting proposed to. Wish she was in her spot. Look, Michael B. Jordan was listed as the sexiest man on earth, so I don't think he's have a shortage of suitors to spend the rest of his life with. And obviously, he found a connection with her, and he loves her, and he wanted to spend the rest of his life with her, whether it was mutual or not. That shouldn't change how women should be treated. It shouldn't change your approach. It shouldn't change what you believe. It happens. But like I said, there's lessons in this. And, in every lesson, we got to take the good and the bad from it. And so, whatever people say about Lori, whatever people say about Michael, I don't think any of them should really be shamed about anything. Like, he shouldn't be ashamed that he got to know. As a male ego, I know it probably hurt. He like, yo, no, like, dude, like, I'm pretty sure it's all factored in. But at the end of the day, the Lord has a way of humbling you. Life has a way of humbling you. It happens. And maybe this is a lesson for both of them. And, you never know. They may get back together. They might end up with a happy ending. They might just be going through a season. This might just be part of their story. So you never know. But I did come up with 3 lessons, and I just wanted to run them by you. Lesson number 1. Conversation is key. Honest conversation. I mean, I would like to think that, when you shouldn't propose, like, when you proposing to somebody that you feel like is going to say no. I feel like if they had honest conversation, then he would have known maybe this isn't the time. And she may have had a feeling like, yo, he wants to propose to me. So I think that, having an honest conversation about expectations and what people want is important. Like, if you don't have that conversation, if you can't sit down and say, hey, this is what I want in life, long term, this is what I want, short term, this is what I want, look, hey, we're both still this, let's get to this point, then stuff like this can happen, where you can tell it was clearly at some point either a miscommunication or something changed, which happens too. Conversation is key, and that's a lesson. You always want to sit down and have conversations, whoever you're pursuing, whoever you're in a relationship with, whoever you're committed to, and always be able to have that, so that way, things like this of this magnitude can be avoided. Number 2, be careful who you fall in love with. For all of Lori Harvey's reputation and things that, things I won't repeat, but not so nice things people have said about her. As far as her dating life, you have to be careful who you love. Got to be careful, not who you love, but who you fall in love with. You have to be equally yoked with people. You got to go to the Lord in prayer about your significant other. And if he would have had a conversation with God, if he would have been whatever, maybe he would have got some discernment. Like, you never know. Maybe she is the one for him, who God has for him. Maybe she not. I'm not one to say, like, I can never say. But you never know. And if you have those conversations with God, and if you find somebody you're equally yoked with, then you can be vulnerable enough to fall in love with that person. But if you fall in love with somebody who's not for you, man, are you running down a dangerous rabbit trail. And you put yourself in these proper positions when you be vulnerable, you be out here and you be doing your thing. Like, you really want to get to a point where, you're happy and you make the right decision. So definitely being careful who you fall in love with is number 2. And number 3, Lori's a GOAT. I'm going to say it. She the GOAT. Future, Trey Songz, Puffy, like, and the list goes on. She's been in relationships with every last one of them, and ended like every last one of them. Nobody from what I've read, had remotely had anything ever bad to say about her. Like, it ends quietly, it ends smoothly, and I don't know if that's NDAs or what, but nobody ever says anything bad. Matter of fact, she's dated people who run together in the same crew, and it wasn't even tensions between people, like stuff that you rarely see happen. Like, she just a GOAT. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the way that she does men in relationships is the way that women feel like men do women. So she's like the Robin Hood, like the icon for women, good or bad, right or wrong, that the girls are looking up to. Like, yo, she out here controlling everything. Like guys are really like guys who are known for being players and, you know, disrespectful to women is opening their hearts to her and openly doing it and falling for her, and she's been able to control every bit of the narrative in the situation time after time after time. Like, she's just a GOAT. The only other person before her probably was like Rihanna, where she was curving dudes and it wasn't, you know, everybody wanted to be with her, and she was just like, I mean, look, congratulations to Rihanna on a child, and, you know what I'm saying, working on her relationship and coming to a point where she's ready to settle down. But, you know what I'm saying, like, it was a point where people looked up to Rihanna for that, and now they're looking at Lori Harvey like she's the GOAT. So, I mean, whether you want to admit it or not, she's the GOAT. But coming back full circle, being equally yoked with, the Bible says don't be unequally yoked with non-believers. You know, don't be unequally yoked. You have to find who God has for you, and you have to go to him to do it. You have to have communication. Like, if you want to fulfill God's will, if you want to be successfully relationship-wise, then you have to go to him. And so, you know, people, look, beauty is an eye beholder. People have preferences, or whatever the case may be. But when you're looking for a soulmate, when you're looking for a helpmate, when you're looking for somebody that fits the criteria of who you would want to spend the rest of your life with, like the ingredients to that, then you have to find somebody you're yoked with equally. Because when you're not, I mean, look, they're both rich, they're both successful, I mean, they're both at the top of their class, everybody in the world wants to be with them. But obviously some things that we, like all of us, have behind closed doors that's hindering whatever. So, you know, it is imperative to find who God had for you, to be with somebody you're equally yoked with. Like, I couldn't be in a relationship with a Muslim. I couldn't be in a relationship with somebody who was a Buddhist. And there might be people in the world who do it. And they might have stuff happy. They might be happy. Their relationship might be considered successful, or whatever the case may be. And so they might disagree. But you have to find somebody you're yoked with. Because when you don't, you find yourself in these situations. And these situations aren't fruitful. The world watching, the generations watching, and it's important that we do what's necessary to make sure that, you know, we're teaching everybody. And so when you see the situation and everybody got comments and everybody got jokes and everybody has an opinion and everybody this and everybody that, I'm always analyzing and, hey, what can I learn from this? What can somebody else learn from this? What can be taken from this? And when you do that, I think, you know what I'm saying, you have an opportunity to have a teaching moment. You have an opportunity for growth. So, hey, no matter what people say, no matter how people feel, it is what it is. Lord Corey the GOAT. I think they'll both be all right. Look, I don't think this is the end of the world for either one of them. Look, I pray much success for both of them. But I do think this is what we need to, as a culture, get better at. And I just pray for both of them. Like, I know Lori may have a reputation to some people, man. I pray. I pray that whatever needs to happen, happens. And look, Steve Harvey's a believer, and I'm pretty sure he pray way more than I do for her. So I think, there's a level of covering there. I think there's an opportunity, like I said, for change and growth, man. I remember being 25, and I didn't make the best decisions at 25, and I don't have the best track record, especially when I was 25, so I get it. I wasn't saved at 25, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot going on, so, like, it makes sense. But I think Michael B. Jordan is an example, from all indications I can tell, of how a man needs to be. And I don't want anybody to get discouraged from seeing this, saying, oh, you know what, and run with their own narrative and treat women whatever kind of way and be scared to be vulnerable and open up your heart because you see this. We don't want to put out a narrative that men shouldn't treat women good because they're scared of this result. So I pray that you be blessed. I pray that, one of these lessons touch you. Comment, like, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you feel. I talk back, so, thanks for sitting down listening. Got the next episode coming up soon, so be on the lookout. Subscribe, YATV Network, on YouTube. And yeah, man, I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all. Inappropriate Believer. I'm your host, YA.
Just a podcast. Let me interrupt your broadcast. What? This is more than just a podcast. Let me interrupt your